Okay, Joel Wendt here, world famous philosopher. I'm going to put this on YouTube as sort of a standalone kind of thing. The title of it is going to be Impotence and Erectile Dysfunction, the Shocking Truth. The reality is that the ideas that we have about this fact that happens to a lot of men late in life, and in putting this information out, I am not particularly putting aside the fact that there are causal agencies at work that maybe could be fixed from a medical point of view. I'm talking about the general cultural orientation towards the fact that at a certain stage in life, men don't get erections easily, if they get them at all. And there is a cultural history to this. And the cultural history has had for a long time, and I don't think this was always true in the deep past, when we had the mysteries of the divine feminine years and years and thousands of years ago, when there were things that we called temple prostitutes, which weren't really prostitutes, but when the mysteries of Eros were part of religion. Today we have sort of the opposite of that, which is related in part to the fact that we've been under the sign of paternalism in our civilizations for several thousand years, and one of the effects of this has been to deny the nature of an understanding of the darker mysteries. Actually, the female mysteries are of the earth. They are darker. But here we're just going to go at the problem, which is kind of obvious if you think about it. And that's, of course, the thing that doesn't happen. People don't think about it. They don't think, for example, that the fact that at a certain stage of life, unless there's some particular precipitating cause, which can include the fact that, say, for example, you get high blood pressure and the doctor gives you medicines to control your blood pressure, and one of the things that indirectly happens is, for a man, you don't get erections anymore. It's called erectile dysfunction or impotence. Now these ideas, and that's just what they aren't facts, they're ideas that our culture has about this, are wrong. That's the shocking truth part. They are just absolutely, totally, 100% incorrect. Why? Well, the fact is rather simple. We're designed in a certain kind of way in terms of our sexuality, and a great aspect of the design is for the purposes of reproduction. And of course the Catholic Church is totally crazy with its way of approaching the situation. But the fact is that physiologically, young men get erections so that they can enter into the interior of the woman and leave behind seed so that there's reproduction that happens. And it's young people that have these tremendous powers to make babies, because one of the things that was true for a long, long time is you had to have babies when you were young, and you had to raise them when you were young, when you had the forces of raising them. Well, one of the weird things that happened culturally, and is really kind of awful, is that older men began to think that they should have babies too, especially if they were in some kind of hierarchical structure, like they were aristocrat, or maybe they were a who knows what, maybe they were a pharaoh in Egypt, or a king in Mesopotamia, or something like that. And they wanted to run around and have more babies, because that was a sign of manliness, to be virile, to have babies. Well, the thing is you should have babies when you're young, when you can really be functionally able to take care of them. And an old man having babies is not a good thing because he can't really take care of them. And a woman having babies is not really a good thing because she can't take care of them. And one of the things we notice is Down syndrome. When older women get pregnant, they tend to produce babies that aren't fully functional, that can't fully develop in a balanced way, you know. So what happens? Well, women have menopause. Their baby-making possibilities pass away. And men, gosh goodness, the same thing happens to them. They don't get erections anymore because physiologically and psychologically, just like with women, they don't need to make babies anymore. But that doesn't mean you can't have good sex just because your dick doesn't get hard. The man has drivers in him that physiologically to penetrate and leave behind his seed. And he's used to that, and he thinks that what it means to have sex. But the fact is that when you get older, you can have really, really, really great sex and take a lot of time doing it just by the fact that you don't have to have that driver anymore to get inside a woman and leave behind your seed. Now you can be patient. Now you can, in your maturity, you can look at this woman that you're with and recognize that you can be her lover. There's a difference between being a lover and a user of a woman. Being a lover of a woman means putting your head and thinking about what it feels like to her to be made love to. Now, everybody culturally thinks that sexuality is about screwing, about a man getting inside a woman and pumping and banging, and the next thing you know you have an orgasm and everybody's having a cigarette. Not so. In maturity, when you're not driven to leave your seed behind anymore, you can stop thinking about yourself and think about this woman that you supposedly love, that bore all these children for you, and what it feels like to her to have a lover, not a user, a lover. And the lover pays a lot of attention and thinks about what it feels like to her to be touched and held and adored and caressed and cherished. And you can go to my website or my channel on YouTube, and you can go to this section called Misery Loves Company, and you can read the written material. There's links there for the written material, and you can get all the ideas you need to have about the fact that it's possible to be a lover of a woman instead of a user. And the interesting thing is, and I speak from experience here, when I didn't need to ejaculate inside a woman anymore and started really thinking about what it was like to be her lover, I discovered a whole level of erotic and sensual satisfaction that I had been missing out all along. Now, some men get it. You know, it isn't always true that you have to be dumb and lose your powers of virility. But the fact is, the shocking truth is that ED is a natural thing. It's not a dysfunction. It's a change in your psychology which enables you to learn to be a better lover. For details, you go to my channel and go into the section called Misery Love Company, and you'll find out all kinds of stuff about what it means to be a real lover.